Hello and welcome to another podcast with me, James Walters, owner of Border Terrier Stanley and promoter of all things dog friendly via our Dog Friendly magazine and website. I'm here with Steve Bennett, long-time owner of Whippets and founder of the Dog Friendly business in 2003. The Doggy Podcast with Steve and James. Hello, we're delighted to have Carl and Nadine from Pooch's Yard on the podcast today. They set up Pooch's Yard Daycare 7 years ago after developing a real passion for all things dog. Last year, their success culminated in them being voted the most dog-friendly doggy daycare and sitters in the DogFriendly Awards. We are delighted to speak to them about how they set up the business and what they think makes them such a great place to leave your dog. Steve, why do you think doggy daycare has become so popular? I was just thinking about, with all the supposed working from home, is this such a necessity these days?
Yes, it is. I think it depends on the individual and the dog, actually, or dogs. We've used doggy daycare since Charlie was about 6 months old, I suppose. We spend most of our time working from home. But the reason we decided we wanted to use doggy daycare is we wanted to ensure that he was a well socialized dog. So although we're very lucky to live in an area where we've got lots of places we can walk, there aren't that many other dogs that he would meet on his walk. And what I didn't want is a dog that was nervous around other dogs. So we decided to take advantage of our local doggy daycare centre for that reason. And I have to say, he thoroughly enjoys it. And it also gives me the opportunity to arrange perhaps certain meetings on that day where I'm going to be out and about so that he's not stuck in the house on his own and can spend time with all his friends. And I suspect other people would have different reasons for using doggy daycare, but that's certainly why we use it.
Yeah, so a necessity, but also because dogs socializing with other dogs. So if you've just got one dog, and let's be honest, there's not, when you go to the park, sometimes not everybody wants their dogs to socialize, do they? So there might not be that many opportunities. Okay, sounds good. Welcome, Carl and Nadine. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
No, thanks for having us. Yeah, really appreciate you getting us on.
Yeah, I mean, we're delighted to have you on, particularly because you won the Doggy Daycare Award last year in the awards.
Yep.
What do you think of my question to Steve? What's your response to why people are using doggy daycare these days?
I think Steve kind of nailed it in the way he worded that. It's such a huge necessity, and I think especially nowadays with how we all look after our dogs, we treat them like children. We send our kids to school to not only to learn but to socialize. And it's like you say, when you're on a dog walk, we're very lucky as well. We live in a lovely small village, lovely walks, but we can sometimes go for a walk and be out for an hour and a half and not see a single dog. So I think daycares have that necessity value there, where, if, like you said, if you have a lone dog at home, you can get that out, socialize. If you want to have a dog that you want to be able to take on holidays, take to different locations, pubs, etc., then having a dog that's well socialized or can be around other dogs is kind of a huge benefit to not only the dog, because for its health, because they're pack animals, but for the owners. I think that it allows dogs to just go back to that nature of playing with other dogs rather than be stuck at home and bored. We've had customers that have used us for hospital appointments. We get customers who use us every day because they work. So yeah, the value is still so high, and it offers such a break for owners and dogs.
I think almost, Carl, you can imagine the dogs coming home and as well being very rested after a day at your at Pooch's Yard.
Yeah, definitely. So we get so many photos a week of where the dog's got home, it's crashed on the sofa, upside down, everything out. And
sometimes they don't even make it out the car park.
No, yeah, we've had pictures where dogs been sat in the car ready to go home. The owners have sent us a picture from the car, and it knackers them out. Especially, our lives are so busy nowadays. Well, ours are, but a thing we commonly hear is so many people are busy. So our lives have just got busier. We work more hours than we ever did. Everything we do takes up time. And I think if someone can tick the box and go, right, they've exercised and fulfilled my dog's day, and I can get home and I can get them little jobs done, I can then put my feet up, and I know that whole time that the little doggy's going to be sat in the corner Sparko to the world. And I think that is such a benefit.
Yeah, I agree. So where did your love of dogs start? Did you both have dogs as kids or?
This is something actually I get asked quite a lot. I didn't actually have any dogs growing up in my household. My mum and stepdad had a very OCD, tidy home, and it was lovely. But dogs would have upset that balance, and never had a single dog growing up. And I had a passion for dogs. My passion started from my granddad and my uncle. They're both gamekeepers. My uncle's no longer with us, but they would never leave the house to go to work or a shoot day without their trusty Labradors or Labrador next to them. And then seeing them work the dogs and seeing how the dog's behavior was mimicked and kind of used. And it was just brilliant to see a dog being used for its purpose. And we've over years developed these incredible breeds to have such purposeful roles. And I was fascinated as a kid. So that's my passion, just absolutely sparked from that, really.
So what about Nadine then? If you've kind of developed this passion from your uncle and getting involved with dogs, what about Nadine?
Oh, I've always had a soft spot for dogs. My mum used to have two West Highland Terriers when I was a kid, and unfortunately, they passed away when I was quite young. And obviously, when you lose a family member, it's quite hard to then replace that. So we didn't have one for a very, very long time. And to be honest, I used to make friends with kids at school that had dogs just so I could go out to see them,
Right.
to be honest. But I grew up knowing that I wanted to just be in a caring role, and well, I wanted to be a vet, but the idea of putting a dog down really, well, that scared me as a kid, and I'm too soft, really, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and more Doggy Daycare is doesn't have that side to it, hopefully. Um,
Thank God.
so how did you go from this love of dogs to deciding to run a doggy daycare? What was the process? What jobs did you do previously, for instance?
So this was a long process, but I will shorten it down. So I always wanted to work with dogs, and everything I tried doing was in one way to try go back to the dog world. But I tried joining the military, the army. Unfortunately, I was medically discharged during training, so I I wasn't able to pursue my career. But I wanted to work as a dog handler on the front line because, again, working with dogs just enthralled me. Um, I got medically discharged. I went from working in a pet store, a garden shop, and that garden shop, I spoke to the owners and I said, "Oh, we need to get like pet bits in, pet foods and toys," and that was my way of just making sure I got to see dogs every day. And then what happened is that garden shop shut down. I was 24. I was jobless, and everyone said to me, "Oh, there's a job here, there's a job there," and retail work. And I remember just sitting there thinking, if I don't jump at this now and try doing something, I don't know what, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but if I don't jump now, I probably never will. So I'd already done dog behavior courses kind of leading up to this to try getting as much under my belt as possible. And then I I said, what better way to do it than to look after people's dogs every day, fulfilling their lives and helping with a behavioural advice. That was something that always kind of was a spark of mine, a passion of mine, was the helping dogs, helping dog behaviour. So I thought I can not only help the dogs in my care, but I can give the advice to the owners, and really kind of help the dog community around me. And Dean actually come from working with children. She worked in a nursery. So we actually met through the daycare. She was
I had a very, very naughty beagle.
yeah,
Right. Okay.
very naughty big. That she brought along. She was recommended to me to help with behavioural advice. I'd had the daycare at this point for 3 years, doing very well, very happy, and it was going so well. Met Nadine.
I just didn't really give him a lot of choice. I just sort of said that, can I come in and see all the dogs? And then from there, I watched this man. He's like, honestly, this man is like a dog whisperer. The way that he trained and changed my beagle's behavior was just absolutely amazed me. So I used to finish work and I'd come and sit in the daycare with him and I'd watch him. Honest to God, I can't even describe it anyway. He's just a dog whisperer. And from then I was absolutely fascinated in how he could make these dogs basically have fun and be so happy. So I've spent most of my time glued to his side, watching every little thing that he does. And one thing might work for, say, my beagle, but it won't work for another dog that we have in our care. So watching him and how he just changes and how he explains different things, honestly, it's been so fascinating over all these years.
I couldn't get rid of her.
Yeah, it does sound a bit like a film script, to be honest.
It does a little bit.
A rom-com. I don't know what to call it. I think we need to Pooch's Yard might not be the best title, but so that's something there. So that's great, actually. Yeah, really interesting. I understand though you've got quite a few dogs yourself, and we met one of them at DogFriendly Awards ceremony, which was Angus, and my favourite guest is, of course, he's a Border Terrier. But who are the other dogs in your family?
Yeah. So we actually have 11 dogs. Always people's jaws hit the floor when we say that. Angus is one of our sweethearts. He is like a perfect Pooch. I think he's 6 now. Going to be 6 this year, and he's never caused a problem. He is just the golden boy, which is why he was fortunate enough to come to the DogFriendly Awards.
And I don't know, because he's not really our dog anymore. I think you'll find he's our son's dog.
Yeah, he is us. Our oldest son has kind of taken him under his wing. But yeah, we've got 11 dogs, made up of 1 Border Terrier, 2 Beagles, 1 working Cocker Spaniel, 1 Rottweiler, 1 German Shepherd, 4 Doberman, and then we have a really old girl, bless her, who's now 12 and she's got dementia. She's a Staffy cross German Shepherd. So yeah, a house full of dogs.
I'm sure you had 9 before.
I think, yeah, if you was to talk to us in about a month's time, we'll probably be at 12.
Okay.
We do name them after the alphabet just so we can make sure that, they're all in line.
Yeah.
Okay, I see a theme.
Yeah, I believe you have a new addition to the family, but of the less furry variety. Is that right?
Yeah, we do indeed. Yeah, we've only 7 weeks ago welcomed another little boy into our lives, little Wilfred. So yeah, it can be chaotic at times.
Sorry, what is Wilfred?
Yeah, little Wilfred Wild.
Yeah, Wilfred Wild is our little boy. So he's 7 weeks old.
Oh, goodness, you mean a human?
Human, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
How on earth do you get
Steve,
this?
what did you think the less furry variety meant?
It could have been anything. It could have been
I'm sorry, guys.
Absolutely.
I didn't.
You sold me. Congratulations. This won't be put in. Congratulations.
I didn't get any questions about the script.
That's fantastic.
I was very heavily pregnant at the awards, so
yeah, that's right.
No,
that's
you
what I was
said
also
that. I
thinking.
remember. Yeah,
I was also thinking Steve might have remembered, but
James, I don't remember anything.
No,
but that's wonderful.
We've got busy lives, all of us. So no, but Wilfred is a human variety so far.
Yeah.
All of our children. Albert, our oldest boy, so he's now 2.5, and he is the modern day Mowgli. So it won't surprise us if we come home one day and both of them are running around with the dogs, acting like dogs. So less variety so far.
and has having a baby around, obviously you've done it before, but has having a baby around made things a bit more difficult?
For myself, no. Me and Dean work so well as a team that I can still kind of come home and communicate and talk about the business, talk about everything that's going on, and it just works so well. But I do know from Nadine, she has found it very difficult, haven't you?
I haven't found it that difficult. It's more the case of I have had such a long recovery from the birth this time round that I've been getting rather angry with Kyle when he comes home, because I'm very jealous that he's been at work with the dogs and I'm stuck at home not being able to do a lot. So so yeah, I've just been getting a bit angry. But now that I'm okay, touch wood, and I can drive again, he's now not got rid of me.
And it is only 7 weeks, Nadine. Carl said 7 weeks, so that's not any time at all, to be honest. You just have six months off and go on holiday somewhere with dogs.
I'm not that person. I love my dogs, and I love being here, like to the point where I still have photos of the customers' dogs on my phone that I sit there and I look at every day on our social media and go, I need to be back at work.
Brilliant. So how many dogs do you have on a daily basis these days?
So we currently average around 42 dogs a day, and we've got an incredible team that help us do that. We're kind of like a well-oiled machine, incredible team. We don't give them enough credit. But
How many people is that to look after 42 dogs?
so we on a day where if we have 42 dogs booked in, we'd have 5 members of staff in.
Okay.
The licensing states one human per 10 dogs. We always try to go above and beyond. So if we are fully booked at 50 dogs, which is our license limit, we would actually have 6 members of staff in. We always like to have an additional member of staff to kind of be able to make sure everything is going well.
Okay. And do some dogs stay overnight? I mean, you've already got 11 staying over. So
it's funny you say that, actually. Currently, we don't do overnight services. And yeah, we have 11 dogs at home. So bringing them to our home would just be absolute chaos. As much as we'd love to, we don't have a mansion, unfortunately. And it would just be overrun by dogs at that point. But currently, we are in the process of building kennels, a dog hotel at the Doggy Daycare. And this is a new service that we are super excited for, as well as our customers asking us all the time, when is it going to be open? We don't have an opening date yet, but all I can say is soon. So very soon, the Pooch Yard will have a dog hotel. So then there'll be a member of staff on site to do that job. What a beautiful job.
So I like being a bit controversial. From all the experience you've had running Pooch's Yard, is there a particular breed that you find tends to be easier to look after than others?
I wouldn't say there is, actually.
You could probably say what's the hardest.
Yeah, we could definitely say what's the hardest. I'll drop that in quickly. Visualers. I have nothing against visualers. They are lovely and they're stunning dogs, but they are full on 100% of the time.
They definitely have had like one too many week fixes before they come in.
Spaniels are hard work. They've never met a visualer. They are something else. But I wouldn't say an easiest breed. I think puppies are the easiest,
yeah.
Because puppies absorb. When I talk to customers and kind of reintroduce new dogs, and if it's a puppy, I always say puppies are brilliant because they're like sponges. They absorb everything around them. So as long as it's done properly, every single puppy, no matter what breed, just absorbing all the positivity, all the fun, all of the excitement, and it just makes them so fun and easy to look after.
I would never have thought you had said puppies were easy to look after. I would have thought they were the hardest, but that's pretty interesting.
Puppies come with their challenges, of course, like toileting and all of that. But we love a challenge, so we love.
Oh, the best thing.
Yeah, we love the idea of this little puppy and starting its life off in the right way. Even we say to some customers that even if you use us now but don't use us in the future, this is the best start it can have, and we love that, don't we?
And to be honest, they learn so quickly from the other dogs. They learn quicker from the other dogs than what they ever will do us. So honestly, this so easy.
Yeah, easy, definitely.
Yeah,
it's a breeze.
I always think with my one border terrier, Stanley, who's nothing like Angus in terms of he's very reactive, but I always think how lucky I am in the house because of a typical day, I can just get on with my work and he's just sitting somewhere else being quite grumpy. And then he will, when it's time to go for a walk, he will come and tell me. And when it's time for dinner, he'll come and tell me. He's quite happy with himself. It's quite different when I take him out. But, I do think of people, like you said, the visitors and spaniels people have. And they are, can be, other dogs, doesn't matter on the breed, can be quite hard work. And something like Doggy Daycare is a good place to get them lose some steam. Whereas, as I say, I'm quite lucky with Stan. He's not got quite as much energy, but he would love to come. He does love socialising. He actually went to a party on Sunday with lots of dogs whose it's their birthday. So he does love socialising. A lot of customers like to see pictures and videos of their dogs at the daycare. Is this a challenge to keep up with? I think it's wonderful. And we actually do like it when we leave our cats at a category. And it is what actually we go on holiday for, to see a picture of the cats. But what's it like to actually have to do this?
Oh, it's a pleasure. It is, and that sounds like the cheesiest answer ever, I know, but it is a pleasure. When we set up, that was one of the things that we made sure we were different at. We get professional quality photos as much as we can.
We even put on photo shoot days.
Yeah,
we work
different
very
things.
closely with a dog photographer in the area who comes and puts on photo shoots for the dogs every now and again.
We get involved in it. It's a pleasure. Honestly, it really is. We love these dogs that come into our care like they are our own. And we all know what it's like as dog lovers to be able to just scroll through your phone. And you might be looking for a picture of, I don't know, a relative, and you get distracted and you go, oh, look, here's a picture of so-and-so, here's a picture of so-and-so. We do the same on our phones, but not just with our dogs, but with customers' dogs.
Yeah.
And because we love them all so much, we love putting that effort in and getting these pictures that we know customers love. And I think the best thing for myself anyway, over the years we've been doing this, is when obviously people pay on their phones nowadays, and they unlock their phone to go pay for the daycare session, unlock the phone, and then there's a picture on their wallpaper, and it's a picture that we've taken in the daycare, and that brings the biggest smile to my face. I'm like, that's what we do it for. That is exactly if we know that dog that day had the best day, and now the customer has it as their wallpaper. Every time they unlock their phone, it's that picture, and it's a pleasure to be able to do that.
And the way we've always looked at our photos is that one day, unfortunately, they're no longer going to be with us. So the more photos we get, the more memories they have to sit back and look back on, as do we when we no longer see, say, especially if they move away. And we don't see them as often. We still look back at them now, don't we?
Yeah. We've got a dog that was with us a few years ago. One of my all-time favorites back then, from very early days, called Sophie. She's a yellow Labrador. American owners, they had to move from the local area to another location for military work, American Air Force. And I still have most of her pictures on my phone. We often talk about her, and I love her, still love her to this day. Still, I hope stay in touch every now and then, not as much as we can, but that's work reasons. But yeah, it's lovely to be able to remember something and go back and see that memory, and it's there as clear as day. And yeah, no, it is a pleasure.
It's your job satisfaction, isn't it? It's a real part of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would your advice to be to others who are thinking about opening up doggy daycare? Have you got 3 top tips you think could really guide people in the right way?
First and foremost for me would be passion. If you're looking at it as a business venture or to grow self-worth, there are so many opportunities to do that in the world through different means, but not this role. This role is all about passion, the love for the dogs, the love for helping owners, the love to be around dogs and on the wet days be covered in mud, and on the warm days help them stay cool. So passion is up there for me. You have to have the energy and love for these dogs. Tip number 2, I would say research. We've seen daycares come and go over the years, open, close down, not just around here, but different areas. And I think a lot of it is research led. They go into it thinking, wow, this is beautiful, a bit naive. I'm going to work with dogs all day. It has its moments. Ultimately, you're putting a lot of dogs in a room together. You have to know what you're doing. So I think research, dog knowledge, courses, get everything under your belt, and make sure you know what you're talking about before walking the walk. And then I'd say tip number 3 is something that me and Nadine often talk about. Is this isn't a career. This isn't a job. This is a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is a lifestyle. We don't put this down. We have missed so many family events, plans that we've kind of forgotten about or we've put aside, purely because this is 100% our commitment. We have our family. We love our family. We're so fortunate, we've got such an amazing family around us. But when customers need us, whether that's Tuesday night and we want to go and see the mother-in-law or anything like that, unfortunately sometimes the customer needs you. And that is what I would say to someone setting up a daycare. It's not 7 till 6 like our opening hours. You don't close the door, lock the door at night, and go, "Oh, excellent, see you tomorrow." You're constantly thinking about these dogs. Constantly, it's your blood and oxygen, I'd say, isn't it? It's
Yeah, we've even now made dog tags, haven't we? So that all of our daycare customers can wear a dog tag. So even if they can't get hold of the owners, they contact us. And the amount of times we've gone out at weekends and evenings to pick up dogs that are lost to then find their owners is so it is literally a 24/7 thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it is a lifestyle.
you're almost a secondary emergency service for the dogs as well.
Yeah.
One of the things I was thinking though is talking about customers. You have to be a very people person as well as a dog person. So somebody coming into this thinking, "Oh, I want to set up doggies because I just like being around dogs." You have to be quite a people person as well, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. And this is actually something that I'm giving away a few tips here on how we conduct our interviews. But one of the things we ask our applicants for jobs is, are you a people person? And I think in their heads, they sit there and go, "Oh, no, I'm a dog person. That's why I want to work with dogs," like you just said. But actually, the answer we like to hear is yes. Because, like you say, it is the owners become part of the family. We've created such a community, and the owners are the most important thing. We want to make them happy and look after their dogs. So you have to 100% be a people person, a people pleaser.
And the more you know about the families, the better you can help the dog as well. Because obviously, if there's lots of changes going on at home, like they're moving house or got a new baby, that does actually upset the dogs. So actually, the more you know from them, the more you can help the dog.
Yeah.
So realistically, you've got to be a people person to make that dog the happiest they can be.
Yeah, bonus tip number 4 there.
Oh, yes.
We better stop here. We might be up to 10 too.
From a legal point of view, then, what do you need to have to be able to start a doggy daycare? Is there training or qualifications, insurance, certification, anything?
Yeah, so thankfully there's been a few changes in the Animal Welfare Act. It changed in 2018, so much for the better. Before that, you didn't really need that much. You just needed a premises and insurance. Now there needs to be a level 3 qualification in the building at any given opening hour. So that's really kind of pushing this industry into a much safer place. And I think like we get all of our staff to a level 3 minimum standard. We train all of them in dog first aid, dog training, dog behavior. So yeah, it's really pushing it. And then you have to have insurance, which is a must. If anyone out there looking for a doggy daycare, I always say to people, not only look at their reviews, but make sure you ask them for their license and make sure you ask them to see their insurance. If someone ever asked us to see our insurance policy, we would show them. It should be nothing that they should hide. You want to make sure ultimately where you're sending your dog, if the worst thing was to happen, if they were to get injured, and these things can happen, it's like sending kids to school, they can trip over, they can fall. You want to know that they're insured. So yeah, you have to have insurance. That's a big one now.
And I believe you need DBS check. I'm intrigued to know why.
So the DBS check, at the moment, as far as I'm aware to date, you don't need a DBS check. This is something actually we do. As a company, we believe that it offers a peace of mind for owners, and it shows that we're a bit more trustworthy, and we're safe to look after your dogs. At the end of the day, they're family members that sometimes spend up to 50 hours a week with us. You want to know that they're looking after these people are looking after your dog at the best of their ability. So I think we at Pooch's Yard are really trying to push for the DBS check to be mandatory amongst daycares. It's mandatory amongst nurseries and kind of school care and school settings, but it needs to be mandatory amongst the dog daycare community. I don't see why it's not. I really don't. But it is something that we do. We display that on our website. All the staff that have the DBS check and any subsequent staff that join us will always be DBS checked.
Just on that point, Carl, is somebody, and whether somebody could have a criminal record that had done something to a dog, and that DBS check would pick that up. Isn't that the ultimate point with this?
Yeah. So yeah, if God forbid, if someone was to do anything like that to any animal, it would show on their criminal record that they may be no longer allowed to own animals in their care. So yeah, the DBS check would flag that's the case. It doesn't flag things like speeding tickets. It flags the more serious things that can affect how someone is in a public setting, and how they are around in a public setting. So yeah, it's great. The DBS does cover that, and that's why I think it's so important to daycares, because it shows that these people have been checked by a governing body and show that they are trustworthy and safe, and it should be done. They should be topped up as often as possible. So yeah, we're really trying to push that.
Okay, brilliant. From the serious bit, what is the best thing about a doggy daycare business?
Oh, now that's a good question. So everything, and that's a cop out answer, isn't it? But everything. We get to spend every day with dogs, fulfilling their lives, making owners' lives easier. We're a family here. We are really big. We use that expression like we're a daycare family, and we have a great community amongst our customers. We absolutely love helping dogs. Like Nadine's Bertie, for example, that we mentioned earlier. He needs that a little bit more attention to be able to get into the daycare setting, and we love seeing that change. We've recently had a success story with a Dalmatian, really, really reactive, unsure, not reactive as aggressive, just unsure of life. He'd been sheltered. And I think that's probably one of the best things, seeing that change in dogs go from unsure, scared, unsocialized to zooming around with new friends. It brings such
just seeing that change over. And do you know what, it's surprising how little amount of time realistically they need, but they need that one-on-one time for, say, a few hours here or there each week. Just how quickly then they go from going, oh, okay, I'm okay, I'm safe, and I can actually have fun.
Yeah,
that is probably the best thing that we love.
It's just the best feeling ever. Really helping dogs is the best thing.
Okay, I won't do the worst thing because I think you sort of answered it before.
So,
it's full on effectively running a doggy daycare business. That's what you kind of got to give up. Is that right, you think?
No,
I would say, well, no, to some degree. So that becomes a part of the parcel. But I think for us, we
do that every day.
We do it every day because of the passion for it. But the topic for us is loss. A horrible topic to talk about, but we've been so fortunate over these this year will be 8 years to look after and care and love so many dogs that walk through our doors. But we do unfortunately get the dreaded phone calls from customers saying that the dog has been put to sleep or passed away, and it breaks us, absolutely breaks us. It breaks us, it breaks the team. We grieve. It's hard. Genuinely, like losing one of our own, I would say that is the worst thing. You get the highs of seeing these dogs grow, flourish, and just be absolutely the happiest beings in the world. But unfortunately, it comes to us all, and that I would say is the worst thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we were delighted to see you at the awards, and I know you've entered in the past. Why do you think you were successful in winning first place this year?
I think, without blowing our trumpet too much, we've got amazing customers. Like I said, we're a community, but I think it's everything that we put in to the daycare. We're not just a daycare. So like Nadine said, we do photo shoots, we have event days, we do themed weeks. We're a family. We put so much effort in creating memories and moments for the dogs, for the owners. And I think the owners really they feel that. They know that, yes, okay, my dog's going to daycare and it helps, but they know that the dog going somewhere where it's genuinely loved. And I think that's what sets us apart. I think that's what helps us stand out in this growing industry. And I think we're so fortunate that our customers are really thankful for the extra bits and the additions that we add in free of charge for them.
And it sounds like you've got a recipe for success. Well, not sounds like, you've got the proof of a recipe for success. Have you thought of expanding further?
That would be telling too much. No. Yes, actually. So we are in the plans and in the process and in the thought of everything there. We want to open up another site. We have a few locations in mind, which I won't disclose here. But we really want to set a standard for daycares. We want what we do to be the benchmark what everyone does. So yeah, our idea is to expand and offer this service and have different locations around. So
Watch this space.
watch this space. Yeah.
That's very exciting. Very exciting.
And can I say you're not expanding at home as well?
Of course.
One at a time.
Eagles.
Well, we'll see you at this. To say fortuitous, hope to see you at the awards again this year. How confident are you to retain your title?
We are 100% going to be at the awards. That's very
big head.
This is what we like to
it's
hear.
fighting talk.
Yeah.
We're going to be there. We will see you there. We funny enough, when we left the award ceremony at the end of last year, we got back on the tube and we were looking at the award and we kind of went, oh, bugger. It's going to make it harder next year because suddenly, like, we come second the year previous to that. And it was like, yeah, we're doing the right thing. Let's do better. And we come first. And now it's really daunting on us that,
what else can we do?
What else can we do? We've got to come first again. So we're gonna fight and talk. We're gonna be there, and we're hoping to retain this title for as many years as possible. So fingers crossed.
Well, thank you so much for being involved, and we do love the fighting talk because that's what makes the competition. And thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been great to have you and tell us more about your doggy daycare, Pooch's Yard, and the rest of the family and everything you get involved with. And so, yeah, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, keep doing what you guys are doing. So thank you for kind of spreading the dog love and the dog friendliness. And we've got such a beautiful country up and down. And it's great to see what you guys are doing and helping people kind of spread that word. So thank you. And thanks for having us on the show.
To find out more about Dog Friendly, the Dog Friendly magazine, the Dog Friendly Awards, visit www.dogfriendly.co.uk.